been a long time since I did a movie review on YouTube, but this is just, it's literally, it's been literally eating at me all night. I didn't sleep well. Um, I went to see it last night, and I want to start by saying that I had the highest of high hopes for this movie, right? If you've, um, this is a good segue into what this review is mainly going to be, but if you've ever read the book, then it's pretty obvious that a rated R version is what it really needed, not the TV miniseries, or so I thought. I'm going to be catering to those who have read the book. So if that's not something you're into, if you'd rather just watch the movie on its own, that's fine. I'll admit wholeheartedly that everything I'm going to say, I think I can see where the average horror fan would have enjoyed it had they not read the book. That being said, there's going to be spoilers for the book. There's going to be spoilers for the movie. So, that being said, I'm going to begin right from the get-go. The date of 1988 popped up. Again, spoilers were alerted, right? So the book is kind of half and half, with like another couple of quarter pieces to kind of add up the stuff in between, but and before. But yeah, the part of the book where their children takes place in 1958, not 1988, and it's kind of a period piece, and a lot of the references and things that happen to the kids are based on the 50s and not the 80s. There were a couple of scenes where I was looking at it going, oh, I didn't know I was watching Stranger Things. That's interesting. Yeah. So yeah, that right from the get-go, I was a little bit pissed off. But I will admit that I did some math in my head real quick, and I realized, given the amount of time that it would take to come back, it would put them at around our current time for the sequel, which will make a little bit more sense. But the overuse of the 80s references was ridiculous. The 80s music montages was ridiculous. One thing I didn't write down here, but I did want to mention, was the fact that the book is 1,000 pages long, and there are a lot of scenes where you're just like, yeah, it's there to bridge, but it's not a plot piece, and they chose a lot of those scenes to be included. And there are 2 or 3 things that they left out that are huge. There's that. This is nitpicky, so I'm going to get out of the way quick. Paul Bunyan, the statue in Derry, which is based, we'll say loosely, on Bangor, Maine. There's a statue of Paul Bunyan, which, if they do things right, in my honest opinion, will come into play in the sequel. But the statue was goofy looking, right? It looked nothing like the one in Bangor. As far as I know, I thought that they had been filming in Bangor for some part, and my friend told me they hadn't. But even if they hadn't, this is 2017. You couldn't like CGI the actual statue in there for that one brief scene. So that was nitpicky. I give you that. That's not nitpicky. One of the most important things, in my honest opinion, from the book was the use of the line "beep beep Richie," which is when Richie would say something kind of inappropriate in the moment. Beep beep Richie, and he would, okay, it's time to calm down. They told him to shut up 3 or 4 times, and then there was only one use of beep beep Richie by Pennywise, which is a good segue into the next piece of shit. I feel like I love Tim Curry. I'm just gonna say that, and I have nostalgia for the original, the miniseries. But I feel like because with the original, Tim Curry's performance as Pennywise became so popular, they were really trying to cash in on that, and which is another reason why, even though I'm talking about the book because I absolutely love the book, this felt a lot more like a remake of the miniseries from the 90s than an adaptation of the book. which was the same way with the 2013 adaption of Carrie, which, brief, just going off real quick, those are the only two movies in the last 5 years that I actually consider leaving the theater, but I was like, well, let's see how it ends. But, so I stayed. But yeah, no, Pennywise was overused. The one thing I'll give him credit is that, there is, because it is the character, right? It is a being. It is not a fucking clown. It is more of a, I don't want to put words in Stephen King's mouth even, but there's a lot of stuff, that it turns into anything, right? It could be this, it could be this, it wouldn't be, but it turns into whatever you're scared of the most. And the movie made it seem like that's just clowns. Which, to their credit, one of the creepier scenes did involve a shit ton of clowns. But honestly, and I like Bill Skarsgård, I liked his performance, but I didn't think that the character itself was written in a way that was creepier, say, than the Tim Curry version, which again, that's a little bit of a nitpick. I just didn't like this movie. I think that's the thing that I need to get to. It was anticlimactic. I know I mentioned spoilers before. This is going to get real spoilery. It's just Pennywise, and just a brief fight with Pennywise. There's no giant spider that we're all accustomed to. The one thing I'll admit I was a little bit happy about, but it's in the fucking book. You get 2 hours to fill. You gotta use it. There's a whole thing with this turtle. I'm not going to get into it because I'm not sure I can explain all of it here. They do show a Lego statue that Georgie had built, so I thought, oh, well, we're going to go there. That's fine. I don't mind if we go there. But they didn't. More brief note, just I feel like I have to, even if I don't want to. There is a bit at the beginning that alludes to a death of a certain man from not from Bangor, who died in Bangor, and I'm not even going to say his name because that's not necessary for this, because by the end of the movie I had completely forgotten about it, but that's in the book and they didn't use that. I think, given the current time we live in, that would have been very important to use that, personally. But I would ignore that and almost everything else if it wasn't for number one, the one that was still with me last night when I went to bed, the one that was with me through the night, that I did not sleep well. Here we go. In the book, and even in the 90s, this character is important, but I would argue that in the book, that first off, that the characters are pretty well distributed, right? Everyone has their own part because they're all part of this club, and once they're all together, you see them, they're all together, and they all have dialogue, and they all this. You see it from each of their perspectives at some point. That being said, I could probably make a pretty damn good argument if I wanted to that Mike was the lead character of the novel. He wrote the history of Derry, so there are parts where you're actually reading from his own words. And in this movie, Ben found all the history of Derry and everything that Mike said in the book. He said, even in the 90s miniseries, he did the presentation in class. Mike did the presentation in class. And I'm just going to flat out say it, right? This movie treated Mike like the generic black character, and he might have had like 5 pieces of dialogue, and they were extremely stupid. Like, they're like, what's going on over there? Or, some stupid line about, like, oh no, right? And he's one of the smarter characters in the book. So I would give up everything if I could have had Mike be a character who wasn't a fucking dumbass, quite frankly. And the writers and producers and directors really should be ashamed of themselves for that, because Mike is a great character, and he was just obliterated. That being said, I don't even know if I need to give you a number review. I despise this movie. I'm never going to see it again. And I might watch the sequel just because I've sat through this, and friends of mine will tell you I quite like torturing myself with terrible movies. but I won't go into it thinking it's gonna be great. I didn't like it. If you did, I'm glad. Like I said, if you didn't read the book, you probably enjoyed it because it's probably a decent movie. I wouldn't know because I have read the book. Again, I'm not even gonna give it a number. Just know that I really, really didn't like it, and that's my opinion. You're free to yours, but that's my opinion. I didn't like the movie, and yeah, I'm just gonna close it on that. Have a nice day.